This is Itel 2160 keypad solution for button 7, 8, 9 and 0. This is a phone brought to me by a customer and it has been with me for some time, trying to trace the solution. Now this is actually a jumper I made and this is the solution I got. I used every other method, it didn't work, but this one worked for me. I have to jumper from under the flash IC down to the ground of the button 7, 8, 9 and 0. Now these are the buttons, as you can see. So I had to jumper from under the IC. Now I'm going to use this PCB to demonstrate it for you so that I can get a clear picture of how I did it. I'm going to use the first method for you so that you see it, and then the second method which worked for me. So the first method is you are going to check under the mic point, that is the mouthpiece or the microphone point. As you can see, there is a point there, that is the ground of the 7, 8, 9 and 0. That is the general ground. As you can see, you scratch it and then you apply your paste and then make a soldering at that point. What you do here is you take a running wire or your jumper wire and then you jumper it from this back to the front to the ground direct, which is at the main button at the front. So look at it carefully so that you don't bridge it to the ground of the phone. So you solder it carefully so that you don't make any mistakes. So if you try this method, if it works for you, fine. But if this method doesn't work for you, then I believe the second method is going to work for you like fire. So stay tuned and watch it to the end. So take your running wire, and then you run it to the front. Just use a razor and then try and clear the coating on the body of the wire so that it can actually carry the current down to the ground of the button. So we are going to solder it to the ground, which is at the back of this PCB. This is actually a rough work for you to see the explanation very well. So you can see, solder it to this ground at the back, and then you take it to the front direct. Take it to the front direct to the ground of the button, and then solder it. Take your lead, and then mind you, this is a rough work. If you are running this on a good PCB, you have to be careful so that you don't break things out of hand, you don't destroy the PCB. This is actually a rough work for you to see the explanation very well. So you jumper it like this, you run it this way like this on the PCB. If this method doesn't work for you, then you have to try out the second method, which I'm going to be showing you right away. So you take a running wire, this is going to be the second method. Take a running wire, and then this is from the point, as you can see, I've removed the IC so that I can show you where I jumper it from. So you also use razor blade and clear the coat. You use razor blade and clear the coating on the running wire so that it will actually carry the current along to your destination. So now we are going to apply lead to the end of the running wire or your jumper wire, whichever one. Apply your lead to the end of the wire. So after applying the lead wire to the end. So now I'm going to show you, this is actually a point. I'm going to zoom it so that you look at it very well. I'm going to zoom it. So this is the point at which I removed the IC from. These are the legs of the IC. So now look very careful. The point at which I jumper it from, or I run it from, you can see it. That is the first point there under the IC. The first point there under the IC. So you jumper it or you run it from there. You run it from there. Connect your wire, your running wire from there. Don't allow it to breach. This is just a rough work. But when you are doing the main work, let your soldering iron, let the tip be very sharp. Let it be very sharp so that you don't bridge it, because that flash IC is very sensitive. Once you bridge it, it will not. The foam might totally not come on anymore until you have to reboard the IC. So after connecting, and then you bring it to the front, to the ground directly here, and I'm sure it's gonna work for you, just as in my case. So you can see. So these are the two methods, and this second works the best. So you can see it. So it's going to work. I'm going to test it for you, and then you'll see it. It's actually a rough work, but I'm going to test it for you. So I'm going to test it for you. Let's power on the phone and then see how it is. I'm going to power on the phone now. So let's wait for it to come on. So now let's test it. You can see 7, 8, 9, 0. As you can see, it's all working. It's all working. You can see my jumper. I'm going to pull it out. I'm going to disconnect it now. I'll disconnect it from the point at which I jumped it to, and then let's test. As you can see, it's no longer working. This is a proof that the work I did is working perfectly. You can see I have disconnected it, and now it's no longer working. So as you can see, it's no longer working because I've removed it. I've removed the running wire. It's no longer working. You can see it. As you can see. So I'm going to apply my gum to the jumper under the IC so that it doesn't remove. I'm going to apply my black gum to it. I'm going to apply my cocoa gum so that the jumper doesn't remove from under the IC, and I have to struggle with it again. So I apply my gum and then use black tape and also put it on it. So I have to be careful so that it doesn't pull off. So it's actually complete work on this. So So I'm going to cut the jumper so that the wire is not too much inside the phone. So I'm going to use my razor and cut the jumper so that it can be of equal length. I'll cut it and then remove the coating and then apply my lead. Let me zoom it for you so that I can see it. I'm going to apply my lead. Let me apply my lead and then I'll take it to the point. So I'll take it to the point there. There's a ground for the general button there, 7, 8, 9 and 0. There's a ground for it there. So that's where I'm soldering it to. Just keep watch. I will zoom it for you and then you take a look at it. So now after this, let me put my black tape. Let me put my black tape so that you can hold the wire down. It's gonna hold it down for me so that it doesn't remove from under the IC from which I connected it from. So you can see I put my black tape and then so I have to be careful now. So let's test and see if our work is done. Let's power on the phone. Let's power on the phone now. The phone is coming on, so let's wait for it to boot complete. Now let's test. 8, 7, 9. Please like and subscribe to this channel, Phone Clinic, for more videos.